Being pro-life doesn't make you automatically a good candidate, but being pro-abortion makes you a disqualified candidate. Because if you can't see that murdering people is wrong, what else can I trust you on? Oh, it's not a baby. Then why are they selling body parts? This man is David Daladin. And in 2014, he went undercover with his organization and exposed on video that Planned Parenthood was illegally selling body parts from abortions. He is meeting with one of the top officials in Planned Parenthood undercover. This occurred in 2014, the undercover video. It was published in 2015. Check this out.
A lot of people want to attack parts these days because they're looking for specific nodes. Maybe testing. I was like, wow, I didn't even know. Good for them. Yesterday was the first time she said people wanted lungs. And then, like I said, always as many attack livers as possible. People just want
livers.
People want lower extremities too, which that's simple. I mean, that's easy. I don't know what they're doing with it. I guess they want muscle.
Yeah, a dime a dozen.
You can actually order the body part you want.
I'm the medical director for the national office for all of the affiliates. So I say, okay, what are you looking to supply today? We've been very good at getting heart, lung, liver. Had patients who want to donate their tissue, and they absolutely want to accommodate them. They just want to do it in a way that is not perceived as this clinic is selling tissue, this clinic is making money off of this.
Okay, so when you are or the affiliate is determining what that is monetary,
Yes.
so that it doesn't raise any question of this is what it's about. This is the main. What price range would you?
You know, I'm going to throw a number out. I would say it's probably anywhere from $30 to $100, depending on the facility and what's involved.
The $30 to $100 price, that's per specimen that we're talking about, right? Yeah.
Yes.
How much of a difference can that actually make if you know what's expected or what we need versus?
It makes a huge difference. I'd say a lot of people want liver, and for that reason, most providers will do this case under ultrasound guidance, so they'll know where they're putting their forceps. Then a rate-limiting step of the procedure is calvarium. Calvarium, the head is basically the biggest part. Most of the other stuff can come out intact.
Right.
It's very rare to have a patient that doesn't have enough dilation to evacuate all the other
To bring the body cavity out intact and all that.
So then you're just kind of cognizant of where you put your crossbows. You try to intentionally go above and below the thorax so that, we've been very good at getting heart, lung, liver, because we know that, so I'm not going to crush that part. I'm going to basically crush below, I'm going to crush above, and I'm going to see if I get it all intact. With the calvarium, in general, some people will actually try to change the presentation so that it's not vertex, because when it's a vertex presentation, you never have enough dilation at the beginning of the case unless you have real huge amount of dilation to deliver an intact calvarium. So if you do it starting from the breech presentation, there's dilation that happens as the case goes on, and often the last you can evacuate an intact calvarium at the end. So I mean, there are certainly steps that can be taken.
So they can convert to breech, for example, at the start of the...
Exactly. They can, under ultrasound guidance, they can just change the presentation.
Now, Kamala Harris was the Attorney General of California when this video came to light. And who did Kamala Harris go after for selling body parts? Not Planned Parenthood. She didn't go after the organization selling baby body parts. She went after the guy who made the video, David Dedalian. The trial is still going on, or he's still being held. It hasn't even happened yet. The trial, I think, is supposed to happen in December. This is 9 years later, because she left that office, but she started the prosecution of the guy exposing what's going on.
David Dedalian is the pro-life citizen journalist behind the Center for Medical Progress and its undercover Planned Parenthood videos. We sat down with him last week to get the latest on his legal battles, and it became clear very quickly that Dedalian had a number of legal run-ins with former California Attorney General and now a Democratic presidential candidate, Kamala Harris. That's where we pick up our conversation for this week's Pro-Life Focus. Tell us more about your encounters with her and a raid on your apartment?
Yeah. So in April of 2016, at the behest of Planned Parenthood, Kamala Harris ordered a search warrant served on my home in Orange County. I think it was a total of 11 agents of the California Department of Justice sent by Kamala Harris came in, overturned my entire one-bedroom apartment. They seized all of the video recording equipment, all of my computer equipment, everything that was, all the electronic equipment that was used to do the undercover filming. Fortunately, there were backup hard drives, and attorneys had copies of stuff and other things. So they didn't take anything that I absolutely needed in order to continue to do my work. But they primarily were looking for the videos, and they were looking for the original videos. We have in the investigator notes from the Attorney General's office now, they recorded in their case notes Planned Parenthood specifically requesting of Kamala Harris's office that they would specifically go in and seize the videos from me. So they were trying to take all the raw footage away and trying to do a huge cover-up. They weren't successful at doing that, but that's just one of many things that Kamala Harris, as Attorney General of California, was willing to do to put the powers of her law enforcement office at the service of the interests of a powerful and favored political backer at Planned Parenthood.
That being said, she is a likely 2020 presidential candidate. What do you want viewers to know about her as we see that she will likely run?
Yeah, I just saw her recently on, I think it was MSNBC, talking about the confirmation hearings of William Barr, who's the new nominee for Attorney General. And Senator Harris was opining that really nominee Barr, if confirmed, probably she thinks should recuse himself from the Russia investigation because of some op-eds he's written about the Mueller probe or something like that. Well, when Kamala Harris had the Planned Parenthood case, which was the investigation of me, brought before her as Attorney General, while she was running for U.S. Senate, while Planned Parenthood in California was contributing to her political campaign and she was fundraising for them, fundraising off of her goodwill with Planned Parenthood for her senatorial campaign, did she recuse herself from the Planned Parenthood investigation? No, she didn't. In fact, she didn't even set up, they sometimes talk about having a wall of separation in the prosecutor's office in order to make sure that there's no improper crossover. Not only did she not recuse, did she not set up a wall of separation, she consciously and willfully involved herself directly and personally in the Planned Parenthood case. She had an in-person meeting with 6 Planned Parenthood executives from California in Los Angeles 2 weeks before the raid on my apartment, We have the action item notes and the email from her assistant from that meeting.
Wow.
They show that among the Planned Parenthood folks present, 2 of them were witnesses in the criminal investigation that Kamala Harris's office was orchestrating against me and Sandra. And they show that the agenda items that Kamala Harris discussed with those Planned Parenthood witnesses and representatives at that meeting included both Planned Parenthood's political agenda in California and issues in the criminal investigation. So there was a direct mixing of her political roles and political agenda and campaign agenda and political agenda of an outside third party, directly mixed in, inseparable from her role as a law enforcement officer.
That is some powerful insight right there. You mentioned William Barr. He is currently in the confirmation process for him to become potentially the next Attorney General of the United States. He's a fellow Catholic as well. If he is in fact confirmed, what action would you like to see him take and for the Department of Justice to take on Planned Parenthood?
I really hope that the Department of Justice will start to do its job and hold Planned Parenthood accountable to the law the same way that any other organization or any other entity should be held accountable to the law. DOJ and FBI have been rather vigorously investigating and prosecuting a group of Native Americans in North and South Dakota who were trafficking and selling in the body parts of bald eagles. And they were harvesting and selling bald eagle body parts across the country for profit. And they have been vigorously investigated and indicted and prosecuted by the U.S. Department of Justice. And yet, meanwhile, it's been 2 years and Planned Parenthood still hasn't been indicted or prosecuted for harvesting and selling the body parts of tiny preborn children.
And just last month, the New York Post broke the story. Kamala Harris accused of weaponizing California's AG's office for mega sponsor Planned Parenthood. You see this? August 2nd, 2024. It's all coming to light now that Planned Parenthood gave her so much money that she decided she wasn't going to prosecute them. She was going to prosecute David Dedalian on a technicality that he made a fake license and videotape people when he shouldn't have done so. No prosecution has occurred for the illegal selling of baby body parts.
Joining us now is Ken Cuccinelli, former Attorney General for the state of Virginia, and as a state senator, you sponsored a lot of pro-life legislation. Welcome back to the program.
Good to be with you.
Is this Attorney General in California trying to quash David Daleidon's free speech?
Certainly that is an element of it. They're using neutrally phrased laws just to go after a pro-life journalist effectively. You know, some people may call him an activist, but he's bringing truth to light, which is what journalists do. They're using blog posts and all the other kinds of things of modern journalism. So you're going to see major First Amendment issues in this whole case. It's going to be an important part of David Daleidon's defense, and there's no question California has singled him out for political reasons.
Is the law biased, or is it the enforcement?
It's the enforcement. The laws themselves are fairly neutrally written. So many of your viewers will live in states where they can't record a telephone call without the other person on the call knowing, for instance, in Maryland. However, these laws they're using in California are in-person recordings, and they are using laws that say those are forbidden in California, fairly neutral in concept, but you've never heard of them being applied to anybody else other than David Daleidon. And if you and I went walking the streets of San Francisco interviewing people and recording them,
right. Nobody'd care.
There'd be 1,000,000 to 1 chance we'd be prosecuted.
Right, absolutely. So what is going to happen, this injunction that we're seeing now, what's going to happen? Will he be held in contempt? He's been told he can't put these videos up and that he can't show the names of these people who are on the videos.
Right. Well, and those are two different things. You know, personal privacy is one thing. Sharing information that has been collected is quite another. And with something like 2,300 video slices. That's quite an extraordinary order to restrain, from a speech perspective, David Daleiden from sharing any of that information. I don't know that that's going to hold up as it goes up through an appellate process.
How important is this, all of these cases, to the pro-life movement?
I think it's very important. It has dominated a lot of the discussion in the life movement for the last 2 years. He is bringing to light in very rough fashion, from the other side's standpoint, the weaknesses and the immorality in the current state of our law. And that's not something the other side takes kindly to. And so they use the political tools and the prosecution tools they have available to them to suppress his message.
Thank you so much for bringing some clarity to the legal part of this issue. Ken Cuccinelli, former Attorney General for the state of Virginia.
So, does abortion trump everything else? Look, I'm not a one-issue voter, but I am a one-issue disqualifier. Being pro-life doesn't make you automatically a good candidate, but being pro-abortion makes you a disqualified candidate. Because if you can't see that murdering people is wrong, what else can I trust you on? Oh, it's not a baby. Then why are they selling body parts? What do you think is in there? There's not a squirrel in there. There's not a giraffe in there. There's not just a blob of cells. There's a baby in there. What do you think Jesus would want you to do?